We need more Pat Spencer minutes, bro. Pat Spencer minutes are needed. The Pat Spencer minutes are needed. We need the Pat Spencer minutes for sure. Nice response though. Lovely, lovely, lovely response. That's what was needed, man. After that debacle the other night. See when guys show some effort. Finally, some freaking effort. Last night was one of the more last or Monday was one of the more poor performances I've seen.
Like
Now
we'll see
guys
what
are
happens when the team see what happens when the team actually puts in some effort in there.
yeah,
It's
but
literally night and day.
so in that second quarter he tried that four bro, like the four guard shit don't work, you know? Just get rid of it. It does not work.
I honestly think what turned the point was when Draymond and Aldama got into it. I think that was the turning point of that game.
Yeah. Um
Like he and Bane, like he got into it with Bane, like whatever hoopla nonsense that was about. That actually ended up firing him up.
Draymond had 24 minutes. See, if you like put some effort in the game, maybe it'll be over by the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? If you just like step on these teams that you're supposed to step on, maybe that might happen. Just maybe that might
Wow,
happen.
wow,
You know what I'm
such a
saying?
basic concept, you know?
Because one, they played defense tonight, and it wasn't like a shitload of guards out there and all of that stuff, right? So there's not a ton of guards out there. They got in trade. They got some stops. There was a possession that I saw, right? Switch, 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 and they didn't have an advantage. There's no overhelping. They took a bad shot. They get a rebound in transition, right? Like, and that happens because you have a bunch of 6'7" guys out there. You know what I'm saying? And that can happen. Like that can definitely happen. It should happen more. And that's kind of what happened tonight. And we need more of that. We definitely need more of that for sure. Right? So, good process tonight. Don't mind it. Um, and these teams that come in, bro, like you cannot just let them shoot your face off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to show some effort, something. You have to show it, bro. 44 points in the third. You know, is it four? No, 40 points in the third. Sorry, and they just put the clamps on in that fourth quarter, right? So good stuff, man. Good stuff from them tonight. Finally.
Kaminga had 26 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Wiggins had 22 points, 10 rebounds. Let me say that again: 10 rebounds and
Yeah.
3 assists. A
Effort
plus
tonight.
22 from Wiggs and plus 21 from Kaminga.
Effort tonight, bro. Effort tonight. Major effort tonight. Major
Also,
effort.
Steve Cook with I know it was at the beginning of the fourth, and I know the game was over, but he started the lineup with CP. I think he had Clay, Kaminga, Wiggs, and TJD. That's a great lineup. That is
Yeah.
an amazing
Bro, let me
lineup.
tell you something. One of them needs to be on the court at all times. I get that you're trying to get guys to the postseason healthy and all of this stuff, but you still need to play them, right? Because you need like they're playmakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you saw the stops that you need to generate stops, get out in transition. And what is the point in using wings or having wings and not using them? What's the point in having like a flexible big like Trace and not using him. It just didn't make any sense, right? So,
Yo, Chris Paul literally played 24 minutes and he got 14 assists. What are
bro,
we
like
doing?
With zero turnovers. No turnovers either,
this
Rose.
should happen
No
on a more
turnovers.
regular basis. You know what I'm saying? And it should happen on a more regular basis. So this is why I was so aggravated the last game because not in 1 minute you're seeing like four. No, bro, like put the fucking wings on the court, right? One needs to be at the court at all times from here on out. You know, they need to be on the court at all times. One of them. I don't care if they're playing bad, but they need to be out there, right? Like if they have
Mhm.
ups and downs, just fucking play through it. Um,
Game ball tonight. Let's do something for spaces after each game. Let's do after wins. Forget losses because losses, we're not
they
going to
suck.
celebrate losses. But after wins, we should do a game ball. Who do you
Who do you
think
got
game
the game
ball?
ball going to tonight?
It's got to go to Kaminga.
Now I
JK.
think I think Wiggins or Kaminga because this
Yeah,
was the best Wiggins game, like two-way, not just defense, not just offense, both ends. I think you could argue JK because JK was amazing. I think you know what? Share it. Let's say Wiggins, JK shared the game ball tonight. They were amazing.
Wiggins
Yeah,
had
The
I
only
four
reason
threes, by the way. 4 threes.
the only reason why I say Kaminga is because at the end of that second quarter, when it was a tight game, Kaminga stopped, and then his layups and dunks at the very end. That's what sparked that 22-0
Well,
run.
but also Desmond Bain only had what 6 points, and who's
That's
guarding
but
him
no, no, no,
predominantly?
no. That's not. It's not about that. Kaminga got that steal, got the dunk, came back down. I think he hit a three first, then stole the ball, got another dunk. That's
I'll
what
say this:
sparked the
they
22
they
and 0
were
run.
they were both great in their own ways. I think we should acknowledge both because the wings. The reason we won tonight was because of the wings. And how about honestly honorable mention Clay Thompson. Clay has
Yeah.
been on the fucking heater, man.
Blaze had a great game. Yeah.
Clay's been on
He's
a heater.
Dre.
23 and
There's
he
a
should
25
start
minutes.
thing.
again.
This is why
There's
I
a
don't want to
thing with.
start. By the way, this is why I don't want to start him. I think
I agree with
he's
that.
perfect
Like,
next to Chris Paul, man. I've been trying to
yeah.
explain.
So there is a synergy. Like I don't know if people notice this, but there is a synergy with between Trace, Chris Paul, and Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
It's like a three-headed monster off of the bench. I kind of don't want to fuck it up because there is a thing that's going on with Trace. Here's why I say synergy because there is a thing that Chris Paul is doing on the ball screen with Trace, and then you have Clay
It's
over there
Spain.
on the
It's the
weak
Spain
side.
pick and roll. It's the Spain pick and
Yeah.
roll. So it's
Yes.
like
So
variations of that where Trace dives and then Clay flares and the defense and then it's like CP
they
can get a
don't know
mid
what to
range
do, bro.
pick. Yeah, they ran the same thing with. This is what I was explaining to people in the summer. I said we can implement Spain with Clay and with a big, and then what we can do is there. This is what the Suns did with DeAndre Ayton and Cam Johnson and Devin Booker. What they did was they ran Cam Johnson, Devin Booker off the curl, and then they had DeAndre Ayton dive, and every time it was a bucket, literally. And they're doing the same thing with Clay and Trace now. So
They should
this
run that
is
Spain pick and roll more, bro. And it's not only the Spain pick and roll, but Clay Thompson had let me see here. He had the last game he had like 8 assists. This game he only had 2 assists, right? So you Trace is kind of freeing up Clay. I don't know if people noticed that, but they are terrified of the role now. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I like Trace is because he's flexible on the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? Like bro, y'all know me, man. I hate the bigs, but I hate the bigs who can't move on the perimeter. Trace can move on the perimeter. He's physical, and here's the thing: he's like a legit lob threat, right? He's trying to block everything around the rim, like, and it's surprising too because teams are not ready for him to get that weak side block. You know, he's jumping out of nowhere basically. Um,
Uncle, he's not just a legit
I
rim
think that
threat. He's the best. He's the most efficient big man in the league outside of Derek Lively. He's
yeah.
shooting 72% from the field. For players that are taking at least 4 shots per game, he has the most. He has the best field goal percent in the league this season.
yo
Outside of Derek Lively,
I
who's a
also think like
7 footer
the
Jim.
and
next
I'm
does
gonna be
does
honest with
nothing
component.
you.
but finish Luca lobs
I don't
and
know
Kyrie
where we're
lobs.
I don't know where we're gonna be next season with Chris Paul's a free agent. We need him, bro. We need him. I know he's
He's
small or
getting them all
whatever,
season long, bro.
but we need
This
him.
is
I
this is
think you're
kind of what
maybe
I was
asking a
talking about,
little a
Dre.
lot, but
And
Dre,
by the
you're
way,
kind
Jim,
of
Jim, we
onto
haven't been
something.
closing with him,
he
Jim. I know your concerns of
he
closing with him.
is
We
he
don't. We're not even
is
closing with him. You know.
he is a brilliant playmaker, bro. I'm telling you, like, but this is why I
Dude got
kind of don't
14
want.
assists,
This is
24 minutes.
this is why I kind of don't want Clay to be starting, and it's not that it's not that Clay can't start. Clay can 100% start, but I think it's kind of like a cheat code having Clay come off the bench
It is.
because
It is. It
yeah,
absolutely is.
and they were showing his numbers tonight, and he's shooting better off of the bench
Way
right
better.
now.
Way better.
So
But
like,
he's
45% from three
cooking
off the
playing with
bench.
bench
Trace, bro.
guys instead of high level starters. He's cooking bench guys, which is honestly more better for him at this point in his career to establish an early rhythm for him as soon as he enters the game.
But no, but it's
so
not only that, but on top of that, I was saying this in the live watch. I was like, "Yo, this is the closest I've seen to him mentally since 2019. He looked so free out there. He didn't look like he was overthinking, hunting for shots. Like the dude
yeah,
looked like mentally, I hadn't seen him in rhythm in such a flow state. He was in a flow state. And it's not just tonight. It's been for about a month and a half now. The dude has been, you could just see on the floor, he's so comfortable. And this is the version of Klay Thompson that I wanted to see all year. We're seeing it now, and it's not just shots. It's not just makes and misses. Like anyone that reduces it to makes and misses, like, oh, these are the same shots he's always taken. Oh, blah blah. It's not about that. That's not even true, by the way, right? Because this season in particular, he's admitted that he's been a little bit
yeah.
more selfish and he's pressed. He's actually not only reeled it back, but he's actually just been more free, carefree, open, and just kind of just in that flow state where he's just getting shots um, off the ball.
Well, he's
And
getting
man,
good shots
I was
off because he's
saying,
getting more space, and Trace is allowing that.
but
That's the
more space.
100%. That is the reason Clay is playing better because he's getting more space on his
That's a
shots,
big
bro.
part of it, Jim. That's a
He
big
just
part of it.
found
But
his mental
also,
homeostasis at this point.
yeah. But here's the thing. It's also Chris Paul. I was telling people in the summer, view Klay Thompson like what Cam Johnson was in Phoenix. Cam Johnson in Phoenix was averaging anywhere from 15 to 17 a night. He was playing solid defense. He was scoring, hitting threes off the ball, shot maker. He was underrated, and he's pretty efficient. This is what Klay Thompson. He's been better than that. I mean, what Cam was the last few years. Clay, and I think Clay is better because he has a one dribble, two dribble pull up. He has more gravity, right? He can create a little bit better off the dribble to make plays for others, just a little bit better. So like there's some extra elements to his game, and CP has completely opened up not only his game but Trace's game. Now the pick and roll with Trace, you have a lob threat, you have a guy that can dive, and having a decision maker who's at the Hall of Fame level. I mean, we already have 2, 3 guys like that. And now you're adding another dude on top of it. You have Draymond, you have Steph, and now CP. And obviously Clay, obviously when he's in rhythm, he makes, a lot of good decisions. So
Dre, can I ask
he
you a
can read the
question?
floor. Yeah.
So, based off of last night or the night before, now do you kind of are maybe able to see where I was coming from when you had asked, hey, do we have a well balanced or well rounded closing lineup? And when I answered you and said that CP Trace combo, I was talking about this lineup that y'all are talking about with CP Clay, Wiggins, Kaminga Trace, or Draymond Trace. I
Closing?
I listen. Just hear me out. Defensively,
Where's Steph though?
I know
Where's Steph?
obviously you got to put Steph. I know I get it, but now do you see where I don't really feel like it's so much of a flawed roster? It's more so this is what happens when you put the right lineups in.
That's true. When you put in the right lineups, and that's the fourth quarter. When they started
Bro,
that fourth quarter,
Jim,
that was the best defensive lineup.
you and I
Steph
had
didn't even come back into the game because of that.
You can't have two
hold
dudes
on, hold on, hold
out
on,
there
hold on,
that can't
hold
go.
up, hold
You
up, hold
need
up, hold up,
dudes
hold up. You know this is the first time Steph has sat in the fourth quarter.
It's not the first time,
Since
but
like
it's been a while.
in a
like
long time. In a
forever.
long time, yeah.
It's been a while.
Hold up, tell me which game he
But if you want
sat this season in the
He
fourth
sat,
quarter.
bro. He sat. I don't
When?
remember which game, but he sat some out.
In a
One of
blowout?
the I think it was
Yeah.
either one of the blowouts against the Pelicans or
no,
one
It
of
was
the
No,
versus
no, no, no.
blowouts.
the
I'm
he
talking
played in the
Pacers.
about in
fourth
a
quarter.
win.
No,
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 no.
no, in a win, in a win.
Yeah, in a
No,
win.
that
No,
was
not
the
in a
win.
loss.
That
In a
was a
win.
win.
Jim.
No.
He didn't sit. No, he didn't sit in that
No.
one. He didn't sit in that
The
one.
reason why I'm
What
bringing
about the
this
one
up.
against the Pacers? What about the
Hold
one
on.
against the
What about the
Pacers?
It was the Blazers. It was the Blazers.
Bro,
Wasn't it versus the
telling you,
Blazers?
it happened a
the
couple of
point
times.
is, these are few and far between. And you see, when we get these, bro, we got to celebrate them. Like this shit right here, because this is this is when they were at the peak of their powers, and this is the shit that they were doing. I used to do this thing in 16 where I would be on a timeline and I would just count every time Steph sat in the fourth quarter. When he would just put games away, and the team would just put games away, and then they sat in the fourth quarter. Like
Sure,
so
sure.
so what I saw tonight was just, here's another thing too that people are not, I haven't heard anyone say yet. The ball was moving around tonight. There wasn't a bunch of
43
there
assists.
wasn't a bunch of
43.
bro, the Warriors are not the Warriors with 20 assists, 25 assists. You see when they get over 30
No ball
assists,
pounding tonight. Not much ball pounding,
there
if at
wasn't that
all.
much ball pounding tonight, man.
Yeah, so it's important to
Yeah, I mean,
celebrate.
Chris Paul had a third, by the way. So 43 assists. Chris Paul had 14 of those 43. That accounts for
In just 24
1/3.
minutes, Dre. What the hell?
You
Oracle, it's
wanna you
important
wanna
to
know?
celebrate, but
Oh yeah, my bad, my bad.
we need to be able to identify why we can celebrate and why it ended up closing and stuff was not necessary. It's because they had the best defensive lineup to start that fourth quarter. They did it against the Knicks too, and ultimately that lineup mostly held the Knicks to 20 points in that fourth quarter. It was just
What
too
was the
little, too
defensive
late.
lineup?
It was Draymond, Trace,
Yeah.
Wiggins, that 3 forward combination. That is
Chris
the
Paul and
best
Clay.
3 forward tandem that they can put out there defensively. That's their best lineup. It's not even close.
Jim.
Okay, and then they
Yo.
had Chris
Oh
Paul
my
and
bad.
Klay Thompson at the same time at the guard spots. So you have 2 guards, three forwards, your best 3 defensive forwards, and they held it up. They held
Listen
up,
to me.
and they blew out the
Why
game,
wasn't
and
this
then it was
happening?
over.
So why wasn't this happening when Draymond was out?
They don't have a legit 4, so they can only
No,
do
no, no.
so
What
much
I'm
in terms
saying
of.
is that when Draymond was out, because that combo that you
Space.
just named,
Space. Kerr
the
at that
hold on one
time
second. No, no, no.
at
Hold
that
on, hold on,
time
hold on, hold
Kerr
on,
was
hold on, hold on.
playing Dario.
No, no, no. So that's what I'm saying. Why couldn't it have been Kaminga, Wiggins, Trace?
Because Kerr's a fucking
Sure,
idiot.
Oh
sure.
my
That
god,
even
it's just a
that would have
waste
been
of
good.
time, bro.
Yeah. So anytime you formulate those kinds of lineups, and they could do it for more stretches, in that third quarter. I'll say this about Steve, man, because we didn't mention Steve tonight, and I mean his game plan is just fucking awful. Like to start the game off, you just allowing one open 3 after another, over helping 4 guards out there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Jim,
that shit is a disaster, right?
Jim,
And they just made no
Jim,
adjustments. It
I'm
was a
telling you.
Jim, I
disaster.
got a question for
I
you.
Aldama,
don't
so
know.
can I
Jim,
Hold
finish?
on. Yeah, go ahead, but I want to pose this question.
Can you let Jim finish? Go ahead.
Thank you. So Aldama's going off 21 points in the first half, 6 3-pointers. The guy hadn't scored more than 21 points since November, and he scores 21 in the first half. GGG is going off, right? So this is bad. And then Steve Kerr calls a timeout. Whatever it is that he said in the timeout in the middle of that second quarter, fucking guys came out forceful, man. They came out with a purpose.
I
And
don't care what you run on
like
offense.
Alex was saying before, Kuminga was playing really well on both ends of the floor, and that allowed the Warriors to create some separation, right? And then in the second half, out of a timeout, it was mic'd up or whatever. And this is maybe one of the best things I've ever heard Steve Kerr say in that timeout huddle. He said, Let's try to get 3. Let's try to string like 3 stops in a row. I don't care what you guys do on offense. Do what you want on offense, but defensively, let's lock up and get stops. And that, like, for him to prioritize defense over offense, like that is something that I've been calling for a long time, because the lineups that he puts out there is always just more offense slanted, even though offensively it's not even good. And tonight, he emphasized the importance of defense, and I actually enjoyed listening to something he was saying for the first time in a long time.
Let
So
me
you
say this,
guys
Jim.
want to talk about game ball? I will give it to Steve fucking Kerr for tonight.
Jim,
That's funny.
but Jim, I want to ask you something though. Regarding to your point where they're like, "Oh, your game plan was kind of shit from the start." Like, why does that constantly happen? Like, okay, for
No,
instance,
here's the game plan.
no,
Here's the
hold
game
on,
plan.
hold
This
on.
is the issue with what we did.
For instance, tonight, right? You've seen this Grizzlies team twice already, and all they do is do nothing but jack up threes. Even though they're 30th, they're last in the league in percentage, but they're 5th in attempts. They're top 5 in 3-point attempts. So why the hell would the team not prioritize? Like, hey, you might want to start guarding that 3-point line because you know they're going to start chucking up there.
Well,
Like,
shit
why
is
did they not
habitual.
emphasize that?
Shit
You have
is
a lack of
habitual.
size.
They have a smaller
So
team.
this is what we do.
Go ahead, Greg.
If you notice the game plan, right? The game plan is this. It's actually backwards. When we have positional size out there, we overhelp for some reason. And then when we play small, we play straight up. Do you know how bad? Like, I don't know
Who is
who
it?
is in
Wait,
charge
who
of
is in
the.
charge of that then? Who the hell is in
So
charge of that?
when we have positional size, when it's like Draymond, Kuminga, Wiggins, it's like dudes are like tagging the roller and like peel switching and shit. Or they're not even peel switching actually. They're like trapping. They're trapping the box. They're doing all this bullshit. Nah, you don't got to do all that. You don't have to like you know what I'm saying, like all this stuff where you're just skewing the defense and trying to force like the corner. The corner shots open every time. When we play small, it's so stupid because it's like Podge is on Jaren Jackson, CP is on like Aldama. It's like, what are you doing? Well, what are these matchups? So I don't know who's in charge of this. I don't even know why we even play small in the first place. What advantage is there to play small other than, shooting threes and playing fast, which we can do anyways, with Trace out there or Dre out there? Like, we can still do that with our positional size. So someone needs to organize the rotations and the lineups better because I don't, and the schemes. The schemes don't make any sense. When Wiggins is out there, why the fuck are we overhelping? Why is Draymond over? And Draymond is a big part of this too. Like, for some reason, he like dares guys to just shoot shots and prove to them that they're capable.
Dre,
Pods
And
is
I don't know.
It's a
overhelping
Someone's
us
lack
got
of
to.
too.
communication. There's no
Dre,
communication on that front.
Someone's got to get in his
you're
ear.
exactly right,
Someone's
man.
got to get in his ear and tell him. Someone's got to get in his ear and tell him that you can anchor the defense, but you don't have to cheat off that because you got to trust Wiggs. Wiggs can hold his own. You got to trust. You know what I'm saying? Like Trace can hold his own as an anchor. Like we have pieces. Kaminga can hold his own on the ball here and there. Like you don't have to overhelp that much. Now Pods overhelps too. Steph overhelps at times. But I mean, you see it less
Pods
from
and
Clay. You see it
Dre,
less from.
Steph and Pods overhelping kills their
Yes.
fucking defense. It kills
Yes.
their fucking defense.
Yeah,
They're not good
I agree.
helpers,
I
and then
agree.
they can't close back out because they're too small. Right, so that's killing their
Right.
defense. They need to cut that shit out, and all of the stuff that you
Yeah.
mentioned, that's all coaching. That's all within the nuances of coaching and the lack of it. Right, that's part of the problem. It's been a part of the problem the whole season. But you see in that fourth quarter, you got those three forwards out there. You don't need help. They can all individually guard. And then if somebody from the guards positions needs help, then it's easy, right? So, man, I love that lineup. I love that. That's a closing lineup for you right there.
There you go.
When shit hits the
That's
fan,
all I
that's
was
the one.
saying. That's all I was saying. And Jim, I wasn't trying to talk over you. That was my bad. I was just gonna add to your point because I was gonna joke about with the Warriors starting off super sluggish and the game being so tight in the first, second quarter. Well, who was at the 5? Like
Draymond for some reason.
yeah, like Kerr just does not learn. Like he has Draymond at the 5 again, like he doesn't get it. So that's one point. The second point, back to you, Dre, when I was talking about the CP Clay Trace lineup, Jim already pointed it out, but I was going to bring that up too. That lineup played a huge part in us coming back against the Knicks the other night. So like I really feel confident that yes, maybe we're lacking some talent, and I can understand that, but we absolutely can get the job done and make some type of run in the play-in or playoffs if we just really do the right lineups and Kerr makes the right mid-game adjustments. Because I
Yeah,
noticed,
and he
I
fucked
agree
up
with that
tonight too.
lineup.
By the way, that third quarter,
Hold
exactly.
on.
it's like the four guards,
I
bro. That
agree
shit
with
is
that lineup.
preposterous.
That lineup isn't bad, but did you suggest to close with that lineup?
Which lineup?
I think defensively, listen,
No. It's the same lineup except you replace Chris Paul with Steph
With
Curry.
Steph,
Obviously,
yeah.
Thank you.
that's how you
Thank
close.
you. It's got to be
Is
Steph
that what
over
Alex is
CP,
saying?
man.
Is that what you're saying, Jim, or is that what Alex is
I
saying?
don't know what Alex is saying. That's what I'm saying.
And
Okay.
Dre, I don't know if you caught it earlier because when I was bringing up that
Mhm.
lineup, when you asked about Steph,
Right.
I did say that. I said, hey, obviously Steph has to be in, so I can understand if you swap
Right.
out Chris Paul for Steph. But that right there does answer your question about a solid, well-rounded lineup.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go through that. So Steph, you said Clay, Trace, Dre,
And
I'm
Wiggins,
assuming Dre's in that lineup.
of course.
And Wiggins? Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But here's the problem, though. We do need one of Wiggins or Dre to hit. Because here's the thing. You can't have two dudes in the dunker spot. So offensively, it may be a little shaky at times, but I do think it would be a good lineup to run. So we should try it. I'm not saying we shouldn't try it. I'm just saying my only hesitancy with that is with Kaminga. You have an extra shot creator and you have an extra player that can provide gravity and rim pressure. So, but you have to, sacrifice offense for defense sometimes. So I understand that as well. So it depends. But I think that's an option that we should definitely consider.
That's
You know
and
what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
you just hit it on the nail. That's what I was getting at because I was just gonna say that I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of our offense for the defense because I think that's to Jim's point about the whole four guard lineup shit. Kerr is sacrificing, completely compromising our defense for the sake of offense running that four
Insane.
guard lineup.
Insane. No reason whatsoever to do it. You have plenty of forwards where you don't have to play four guards, where you don't have to play three guys that are 6'2" and under. Come
There
on,
you go.
man. Shit is
Okay,
preposterous.
hold on. I want to ask you
And
something
to
real quick.
Jim's point, and this what I add to what Jim just said. Listen, in that third or fourth quarter, like maybe towards the end of the third or some point in the fourth, yes, we were up 18 to 20 points, but I don't know if y'all caught it. Kerr decided to run that four guard lineup again, and the Grizzlies scored like 8 straight. But luckily, we built so much of a cushion, we was able to just it wasn't able to really be
And they were able
effective.
to
But
score themselves. They were able
yeah,
to. They
exactly.
ultimately they scored 40 points in that third quarter. So that was a huge quarter. That was a huge quarter for them. But individual shout outs to Kaminga and Wiggins tonight. They both were just incredible. Kaminga was 12 of 17 from the floor.
Yo,
Pretty much a complete game. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals,
I want
26 points. Fucking Wiggins, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 9 of 14 from the field, 4 of 6 from the 3-point line, bro. Like these two
he
guys
was
combined to
aggressive.
play that well, I mean, we don't get to see that
Yes.
very often. And so,
Yep.
both guys have been getting some flack lately. And tonight, I mean, there's nothing bad to say at all.
Also, I'll say this too real quick, and I know I'm real critical about pods, but listen, I hopefully excuse my language on this. It's sad. It's unfortunate that it took Pods getting fucking hurt for Kerr to finally take him out. We got a chance to see Moody in there. We got a chance to see GP2. But in that 22-0 run, when Kaminga helped sparked it, and in the third quarter we went on that long run, guess who didn't play a single minute in that 22-0 run? Fucking Pods, bro. So another thing that I wanted to point out.
Yeah. So look at the highest plus minus over the last decade. That's very interesting stuff. That right there is partly why we're even over
I
500.
mean, does that even
You know what I'm
surprise?
saying? Like,
Does that even surprise anybody though?
no, I'm just saying that like it's just you got to put in perspective and take and zoom out and look at like it's quite impressive that you have 4 of the top 5, highest plus minus players on the team at the
And
same time.
all of them played
It's
for this
understandable.
franchise at one point.
Now let me ask this question, right?
Yeah, that's true.
What if
That's true.
you get the young guys on page, get the athletes on the same page with these high plus minus guys? What can possibly happen in the playoffs?
We can make a run.
But
we could. I'm
Dre, hold
not
on.
ruling a run
Can I
out.
ask? Can I ask you this real quick? So right now, do you currently like the rotation right now?
Listen,
Because if you think about it,
proper
there's only not.
combinations, man.
It's
Like you listen,
8.5
hold on, hold
guys
on, hold
out
on.
there.
Hold on. You can't just be trying shit, bro. We know what fucking works, right? So the last game I was irritated because I'm like, you know what works and you're trying shit. Stop fucking trying shit. Like we got 15,
Yeah.
14 games to go. Why are
But
we
right
trying shit?
now,
We know
tonight,
what
did
works,
you
bro.
like it? Do you like it now? At this point, because look at the minutes totals right now. If you discount all the garbage time minutes, this is essentially an 8.5 man rotation.
It doesn't matter. You want to know why? Because I guarantee going into this Pacers game, he's going to completely go away from what worked tonight.
Listen, listen,
Bet
listen,
on it.
listen,
Bet on it.
listen, listen. And that's the annoying part, bro. I know he's gonna fucking do some bullshit, bro. So
You ain't
so let's
wrong
not do
though,
the bullshit,
Alex. You
dog.
ain't wrong.
Don't fucking galaxy brain this shit. Just do this thing that they did tonight.
Bro, he loves making shit harder than what it needs to be, bro. Like, oh my
Somebody needs
Listen to
to
God.
me.
like
Off the
print
bench
out
tonight.
this.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. Off the bench tonight. Guess who were the high minute men off the bench? Trace,
It
Clay,
was.
and
Yep.
CP. Simple.
CP.
Keep it fucking simple,
Yep.
bro. Don't galaxy brain the shit.
Right. Yep. No, I agree.
Like
Let me
So
ask you this.
hopefully
Let me
he
ask
gets
you this. Let me
rested.
ask you this.
somebody
Pods
needs to like
tonight.
print
Oh, my
out
bad. My bad. Go ahead,
this.
Dre.
Hold on. Somebody needs to print out this shit like legitimately. Like just print out this stat sheet and just literally like just paste it onto like Steve Kerr's door and like shit like use this as a fucking template and do not go away from it
Use
because
it or
this
we
is
kill you.
legit.
Listen,
By the
it's
way,
not
man,
every night that they're gonna shoot 48% from three, right? It's not every night they're gonna make 19
Did
But
you
threes
see
just
and all
use
of
it
this
Steph?
as
See
a
how they
stuff.
were guarding
template.
Steph?
Don't
But here's the
galaxy brain
thing.
By
shit
the way,
anymore.
Here's
did
the
you see
thing.
how
Here's
they
the
were
thing,
guarding
right?
Steph? By the way.
It's not every night you're gonna make 19 threes and you're only gonna get 6 free throws and you're just gonna run a team off the floor. But what what was present tonight was defense on the perimeter, and you had Trace up the down there just cleaning up shit. You had Draymond doing the help stuff. So let's just go with this shit, man. It's possible,
That's
right?
what
Space.
I'm
Can I
saying, Urkel.
space?
Just use it as a template. No need to
Yeah,
galaxy brain
yeah,
shit. Don't do any more of
yeah.
that. There's 15 games left.
Space. Let me ask
Did
you
you
this.
guys see how they
Let me
were
ask you
guarding
this real
Steph
quick.
tonight, though?
Space.
You guys got to put the scoring in context though, because like Kaminga and Wiggins, what they basically did was so the Grizzlies top locked and they face guarded Steph. And the Warriors probably knew that coming in that the Grizz were going to do that, which forced a 4-on-4 situation. That is why. So it also depends on what teams throw at us, right? And that'll also like the scoring and stuff. But I'm happy that J.K. and Wiggs just literally were aggressive every possession. Like both of them were looking to score. And also the thing about taking Clay out of the starting lineup, there's only 2 mouths to feed outside of Steph instead of three. So like like if it's Wiggins, Clay, and J.K., it makes it a little awkward because then it's like Clay's got to get some shots, J.K.'s got to get some. He's a shot creator too, and then Wiggins gets kind of get less like left out of the mix because he's not going to try to force anything. So that's the thing. So
You
I
see
actually
when it's
like the
three
balance of the starting
guys,
lineup.
when it's three guys, it's
Yeah.
okay. You see when it's four guys,
Yes.
that's a
Yes. Yes.
problem.
But here's what I would suggest. This right. I do think Pods hasn't been good the last month. And I think maybe we should consider starting Moody, but
I
also it's a
said
bit of
that.
a risk. It's a bit of a risk, though. Yeah. But I know you said that. But what I'm saying is you got to look at the flip side. Because if you start Moody this late into the season, you're also putting a lot of like if we have a tough stretch where like in the first quarter we don't get off to a good start, maybe he misses a couple threes, gets beat off the dribble a little bit. Because there's been times where Moody's defense has been locked down, and then there's times where Moody's defense has just been non-existent. So what I'm saying is it's a little risky, but I wouldn't be opposed to it because Pods has been struggling. So maybe we should start Moody and
How
see
is
what that
Pod
looks like
struggling though?
because Moody
From what standpoint? Like shot making?
shooting, I think his confidence is
He
through the
scored 2
roof.
points tonight,
And
by the
He's
way.
just hit a wall. He's just hit a
no,
wall.
no, no. Hold on.
Listen,
It's not shot making. Hold on.
listen,
There's been hold on. Wait. Let me
listen.
say this. There's been games he scored 2 points and he's been like a plus 18. It's not about the scoring for Pods.
What
His
was his plus
confidence
minus
is
tonight?
shot.
+1. But
It
here's
was
the
just a
thing.
+1.
If he
Yeah.
has like if his bad game is 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and he's 1 of 6, I can live with that. Now, what I can't live with is him just getting
The
abused
defense.
on defense,
Yeah.
right? So
And also he's got a rebound. He's got a rebound.
yeah,
So how many rebounds did he
he
have
had
tonight?
5.
Yeah, 5.
Okay, it's not that. That's not that
No, but
bad
here's the
actually.
thing
But
though. He's
no.
still hustling. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like he's not hustling.
I mean, he's still
He,
taking charges and
bro, let
all
me tell you
that. Like,
something.
they're
Right
still doing
now,
that.
Yeah.
right now, we need guys who are going to hustle and sacrifice and do like the things
Yes.
around the
Yes.
margin, right? It's not everybody
Yes.
that's going to
Yes.
score on a night in, night out
We have the
basis.
talent. We actually have the scoring
Yeah.
talent. Like, it's the question is, do we have the defensive or
Thank,
like the other stuff
thank you,
type of
thank you,
talent? We have some of
There's a
that,
lot of
thank
right?
nights
you.
where I'm
Wiggins.
watching the shit and
Yeah.
I'm watching it and I'm saying to myself like there's a lot of ball pounding that's going on. There's a lot of like
hmm
you could see it at times where there's some selfishness going
Moody's
on.
also, by the way, that's one of Moody's flaws too. By the way, is he does the ball does stick with him
it
sometimes.
does.
So it is a trade off though. So I would consider though Moody's more catch and shoot than Pods is. So maybe you start Moody, you use him catch and shoot. He's a good rebounder too. He can defend a little bit. So and he gives you more positional size. He's 6'7". So Moody's really good. So maybe
The
you
reason
start
I
Moody over
hesitate
Pods.
with that
If
with the
only he was
pods
six
thing
seven.
though, I don't want to over
Or yeah, he's like 6'5". He's like
so I
6'5".
don't want to
Yeah, 6'5".
overreact to the pods thing because I
Mm-hmm.
do think we need a third playmaker in there, right? Like it's not.
That's true.
right?
That's true.
I
Yeah.
think we need another playmaker in there, and that's why I kind
You're
of
right. Moody can't break down the
this is what I'm
defense. Moody
saying,
can't
bro.
break down the
So
defense
it's
right now.
like Pods
Yeah.
tends to ball pound sometimes, but he's still a better playmaker than Moody is.
This is why I say you got to live with the shortcomings
So you got
sometimes.
to
Yeah.
ask yourself,
So
do you want offense or defense? That's what you got to ask yourself.
I mean,
Well, I don't even think it's. I
Well,
think it's.
it's not
Because
that simple though.
you want to know why? So hold on, real quick, space. Let me ask you this: two things. Yes, that doesn't give the full context. 2 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Okay, cool. Do you realize with Aldama going for 27 tonight, and a lot of the Grizzly players going off tonight, do you realize that a lot of those threes came from pods over helping on the defensive end?
And Steph.
Mm,
And Steph.
that it was also Steph too.
And
Yeah,
Steph,
I
but I'm
wasn't
just
just
saying, pods played a big part with the over helping.
mm,
cool. But what I'm saying is Moody also has drawbacks that we have to accept too. So I'm saying I'm not against it. What I'm saying is it's that Pods is flawed. Like I'm not here to defend
We're basically
his
asking
shortcomings.
Alex. We're basically asking like, what's the
Yeah.
least damaging option that we can do?
I
Right,
say
right, right,
Moody.
right.
That's why
Exactly.
I
Because
said Moody.
either no, there is no perfect option. The only perfect option on this roster, there's maybe three guys, maybe four. I want to say three. If Wiggins is playing well, you got him. If obviously you got Steph and Draymond, that's it. And then you can say J.K. right because we need him out there for scoring. Outside of those four dudes who've kind of nailed in their like that shooting guard spot, the thing is with Clay, you don't want to fuck Clay up because his rhythm and his chemistry with CP is at such a high level right now that if you start him again, it now is a fourth mouth to feed, and you take him away from CP minutes. So you want Clay next to him. That's a balance that you have to keep. But then if you have Pods or Moody in there, Pods has shortcomings because he does ball pound. He's not a great defender. He's okay. He's not bad, but he's not great. He's
give
the
me
ball
Dre.
sticks with
Give me
him.
guys that can
He makes
do.
mistakes.
Give me guys that
Yeah,
can do the little things, and Pods is a little
right.
things guy, right? So
Moody does some little things too
yeah,
Moody
though. Like
hustles just
Okay,
like Pods, though.
and here's the thing. Like Moody, I would argue is probably a better, more reliable shooting
Yes.
threat than Pods. But Moody's also a ball pounder. He does do that a lot. It sticks with him too. He also defensively is up and down. Like sometimes he'll be really solid, sometimes he'll get beat off the dribble and then he'll get lost. Like there were times, if you noticed, there was a Spurs game that we played maybe a week ago, and Moody was responsible for a lot of our breakdowns, especially I think it was the first quarter. So I'm just saying neither option is perfect. So we just have to look at the one that makes the most
So
sense.
so Dre,
You know what I'm saying?
do you want to know what answer I go with then? Just like what y'all said the other
Mhm.
night. Hey, we got to see what it looks like. Let's at least give it a
Right.
chance.
Wait. I have a question. I have a question for Dre, and
Right.
all you got. We can all answer this too. But Dre, if we take Pods out the starting lineup, where does that lead him in the rotation? Because I don't want Pods playing next to
That's a great
CP.
point.
I don't
No,
want him playing
no,
next
You
to
know
you
what?
CP
You're
at
right.
all.
do
You're right. No,
you
that's a
do
So
it
great
like
point.
where's
You
that
Luca.
going to
can't.
leave
You do it
You
like
know
Pods?
what? You kind of answered the question. Actually, you can't do that because if CP's running the second unit and Clay's your shooting guard, if you have Pods in there, then where's does GP2 fit? Also,
I don't want to
um,
overreact to
yeah,
Pods. Listen, he's having a rough stretch right now, but what I'm watching is yeah, he's having a
right.
rough stretch or whatever. However, um, he's still doing like the hustle things. He's still doing like the tiny hustle things or whatever,
He's
Yeah,
right?
still
he'll take
taking
a
charges.
charge.
Like
Yeah,
that's
he
still
takes
good.
charges.
Right. So
Yeah. So yeah.
I don't wanna kill
Yeah.
a rookie. By the way, right? Like
No,
He's
Urkel,
done
you've
more
been
than enough that we can
that
ask for.
Urkel. What you're saying is what I've also been
yeah,
saying all year. Like I agree with that sentiment, and what you're saying is exactly what I've been saying all year. Like he's a rookie, he's 21, he's gonna like all that stuff. But I'm thinking of ways if we can make the team better. I'm never gonna put like
listen.
I'm
Let me tell
not
you something,
fixated on
bro. He's
anything.
productive.
I'm open to
He's
yeah.
productive. But here's the thing: I also don't want him anywhere near Chris Paul,
Exactly.
I
right?
agree. I agree. Yeah,
So
yeah,
so
yeah,
so
But they
Chris
100%.
haven't stopped
Paul,
doing it.
I
They
think
did it
we've
tonight too.
established
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
So he should him and Steph, Pods and Steph should play opposite of Chris Paul.
We just need, you know what we need? We have, listen, guys, let's just put it in this framework. We got 14 games left. I think everything should stay the same for the most part. use the best lineups that you know can defend, and whatever you got to do to close, obviously, play that by ear. I think starting lineup wise, part of keeping the starting lineup as it is also to keep the bench unit in a rhythm, because it's been in rhythm the last like month or two. So we need to. I don't want to fuck that shit up. Now, on top of that, I think you got 14 games left. So let's just see if maybe JK, Pods, whoever, even Trace, like all of them have some flaws. Maybe we can find a way to just correct those flaws through like learn those lessons in wins, basically. Like at this point, there's not enough time to quote unquote develop and like experiment. There's not time for that. So we just got to ride the season through. We got 14 games left. Let's hope that they're able to correct any of the issues. If I'm hoping they go over film, right, and they can point out like Steph, Pods, whoever's over helping. You got to do this or this or this different next time. Like you got to adjust there. You got to correct that there, and point out these different things in film, because I don't think we have much of a choice. We're so late in the year that making tweaks to the starting lineup and making it is that's my only concern. If this was game 40, I would be way more
You don't
vocal
want to
about
yo-yo
that.
the minutes like you say.
It's yo-yoing, but it's also like, bro, if we're in game 68,
So
okay,
Dre,
we're about to play game 69. If we fuck this shit up in game, we don't have any room
Dre,
margin for error to fuck shit up, internally.
there is a
Yeah.
thing that I've been pointing out for a long time with the NBA, and I think the NBA, there's certain teams that benefit when basketball is played a specific way. And
Right.
the reason, bro, like people get mad at me because I am confident, and I just think that when when a game is being played a certain way, some teams benefit and some teams don't. So, for instance, right, in October,
Mhm.
the average NBA defense was giving up like 110
Yeah, it was
points,
like a one.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
According to NBA.com. NBA.com and basketball reference are different, so let me go off NBA.com. So
Right.
110 in October,
An average in October,
right?
right? Hmm.
So then November was like 114. In December it was
Yep. Yep.
116. January was
Hmm.
115. And guess what's happening the last couple of months? Fouls, I heard the other day, are down 20%, and
Yep.
the defensive rating is now decreasing. We are at an
Good, good.
advantage when the defensive rating is on the downward, right?
You know why? Because then that forces teams to become shot making teams, and there's very few teams that can make shots at the level of a Steph, Clay Thompson, and even like what we like even JK to some extent. Even like very few teams can make shots at the level of Steph and Clay when they're hitting shots. So that's why in the playoffs for years we've always been a better 16 game type of team than
Yeah,
regular season team. Sure, you can point at 15, 16, 17 those years. But you look at the last few years, especially in 22, that was like the best culmination
yeah.
because we played 500 basketball over like the last 40, 50 games
And
to
and
close the
um
season.
and if you look at the times that we've played 500 basketball, I should almost chart this shit at this point, right? So
Yeah, the defense. Yep.
I think there is a
The fouling, right?
correlation between our win percentage, the defensive
Hmm.
rating, and
Fouls per game.
and fouls per game and all of that, right?
Fouls per game,
So,
free throws per game.
bro, I did stats and all of
Yeah,
that stuff, and there is something correlative with that where you're looking at
by like a point 0.6, point
right?
0.7
Oh,
for sure.
if you do a regression analysis, it probably would land right there, Dre. So
Yeah.
you look at this right now, and the reason why I think the shit is going to flip because the conditions are in our favor. Now, the reason why I was so pissed the
Yes.
other night is because we're not leaning into the advantage that we have. Because here's the thing:
Hmm.
the teams that have the advantage when things are up, they don't have that advantage anymore, right?
Right.
So one of the things that we're going to watch for the next game is that we're going to watch Indiana, and we're going to watch when Indiana
Hmm.
comes in. Indiana was one of those
Mm.
teams that benefits from the playground style basketball, right?
They were the number one offense for such a long
They
time, like
were
the
the
first
number
like
one
3, 4 months
offense by a mile for like 2 months. You know what I'm
in
saying?
history,
And
actually.
Wasn't they
and
wasn't
Yeah.
they averaging like 140, 150 a game?
bro. It was insane what they were doing.
It
So
was completely ridiculous what they were doing.
that's a team. That's a team. You look at them and they benefit from kind of what's going on with basketball, right? So when
Mhm, mhm.
we play them next, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we should be watching that game with a with laser sharp focus because I have a theory, and I think it's a pretty good theory at this point that when the games are
Mhm.
called physical, especially on the perimeter, I think it benefits us. And
It
and and
does. No, it
Indiana's going
absolutely
to
does.
be a
Because you know
measuring
why?
stick.
But do you know why though? Because and you know
Yeah,
why? Because when it comes to shot making against physical defenses, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are better at that than any two players in the
yeah.
NBA.
Like
That's why,
Dre,
like
also
in the
it also
playoffs,
Dre,
Can,
it also
can,
benefits that
can,
the
can I say
Warriors play
something?
style. Hold on. Hold on. What was my point earlier?
the
It was
the
that
play style.
hold on. It was that it was also benefit that the Warriors don't like play this sort of
Mhm.
foul grifting style of play, right? Because that shit just does not work in the playoffs.
Right.
So they don't get like punished for it, and they don't like all of a sudden become like headless chicken offense when that shit just doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So that also helps
But that's what
that
I'm saying.
yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying is that Steph and Clay are naturally tough shot makers. So because they're naturally tough shot makers, you're forcing other teams to now match that. They have to match that. And if teams are getting by through foul grifting and getting to the free throw line instead of making tough shots and being like an actual tough shot maker, that's what happened against Dallas in 22. They didn't have the tough shot makers that Steph Curry was, that the advantages he created, all that stuff. They didn't have the shot making. And so what ended up happening was it's like tough shots, man. Like Dinwiddie, Brunson, Luca, they were taking some tough fucking shots. And they made some, but it wasn't enough. They weren't efficient enough to match the advantages. Wiggins too. Wiggins was hitting shots in that series. He was hitting tough shots. Like that's what I'm saying. When it comes down to a tough shot making battle, that is why the Warriors have been what they have. They've been for over a decade because no teams can match the tough shot making of Steph, Clay, and the advantages that are created from
Oh,
their ability to hit shots like that.
here's another advantage that we have too. You see, okay, when you are rewarding grifting and downhill offense over and over again, I mean, if you really think about it, that's how guys want to play, right? You see when the you're allowed to get physical and you can get physical on the perimeter, you don't have to overhelp that much and all of that. Now it forces team to go to secondary and tertiary actions. There is no better team more comfortable going to those actions than the Golden State Warriors, right? So that is going to be another advantage because you all
The
of these
yeah.
teams that were putting up
Mhm.
like the 120s and all of that, they're mostly downhill foul grifting offenses.
There's one team that comes close. Boston does not come close. Actually, Boston's very one-dimensional, and well, not very, but they're quite one-dimensional compared to what the Warriors do in terms of their counters, like you said.
Yeah.
But Denver's the one team that they have like those secondary actions.
Yeah,
Like
and
if you cut off
and
one thing,
but here's
that's
the
the
thing
only
with
other
them.
team. But
Their action comes
mhm.
from Jokic at the elbow. Like,
One's place. That's
right?
true. That's
So
true. Yeah,
so
that's true.
so
Yep.
I think now I think the Warriors are best when they can focus their defensive focus, if that's a proper terming.
They can direct. They can direct
When
their
they can
defensive
direct
focus.
their
Yeah.
defensive focus in a certain spot, then that's a different ball
hmm
game, right? So that's going to be the adjustment when I think it comes playoff time, and that's going to be the chess battle when it comes down to it.
I agree. I agree.
Yo, Kevin, you had a hand
Yeah,
up.
and that's the other thing because Jokic doesn't. Oh yeah, just really
Yeah,
quickly, Jokic doesn't have the off ball. He doesn't have the off ball presence that Steph does, and I think that's the extra element that we have over a team like Denver is that if when we're at our best, the difference actually between us and Denver is really not the offense. It's actually the defense. If you look at the
yeah.
numbers, the defense is actually the main difference.
I
So
just want to say it was a good win. We beat, a Memphis team that didn't really have a chance. And I was just looking at this, and I know playoff basketball is different, but it does it bother you that we don't have a winning record against seven of the top eight seeds in the West? Not one of them.
Well, Well, Kevin, you
So
have to apply also proper context because a lot of those losses came off of like guys not being in the lineup.
okay, but every team is going through injuries. So I'm just saying that that doesn't bother you. Like it
And hold
bothers
on,
me.
what wasn't some of those wins Draymond was suspended?
There's no excuses for any of it. There's a
That's
lot
true.
of bad shit that is like
Still,
not good and
things
it should
happen.
bother
Things
all of us.
happen. Things
Yeah,
happen.
that's
Things
true.
happen. Like we
It's definitely
it
concerning. No,
so
I
that
agree
doesn't
because
bother you. It
those
bothers
Thunder
me.
games.
Like we're up here, talking about and tweeting loud about a bad Memphis team that we beat, and we still gave a 116, and we still have 7 of 8 teams in the West that we don't have a winning record against. That should be
Big
concerning.
picture.
That
Bro, the
Big
shit's done
picture.
with,
playoffs is
man.
Big
different,
It is
man.
picture.
what it is. That shit is done
No,
with.
Kevin, I don't disagree with that. Big picture, like against like the Suns, right? But those were some games he got suspended. Dre did. I mean, the Nuggets
Dog,
he
Trace
suspended.
wasn't
But
even
I
in
do
the
agree.
rotation for a majority of those
Let me tell
games.
you, bro.
But I also
See,
You
do.
see
that's
Well,
those?
I do think
You see after the six
I
and
don't
two
disagree
start,
though.
right?
Yeah,
And then Draymond missed that Nuggets game, and then we had like a stretch of home games.
bro, like
I
that's
don't
what.
think
Yeah,
I don't think we've been able to recover from that stretch right there. Maybe until right around now. I don't think we fully recovered from that stretch.
right there, what you just said is what I was getting at. Chef, I see what you're saying, but there's a like Rose. There's a lot of context you got to add to a lot of the losses that we had accumulated over the season because you got to remember Kerr wasn't doing the right lineups. We had
He's
Dario
still
playing
not
for
doing
Listen,
it.
let me tell
a
you
good
something.
stretch.
That's a
Like you got to
combination
put a
of,
lot of context into
bro,
it.
there's a ton of context because bro, during that stretch, right? So after we lost those 6 games, right? Trace is a Trace is definitely a, a bright spot right now. How many
Dario was a
DNPs,
priority.
bro? How many DNPs was Trace catching during that stretch,
There you
What was
go.
I screaming about the whole season?
right? And then we end up in December, and we run into a 5 game stretch because this was around. I went to the last game I went to was I think the Washington and the Blazers game, right? And there was a stretch when Trace was playing and he was playing a decent amount of minutes, and they were winning games, and there was a win streak there, right? And then all of a sudden you see Kerr, then
With no
Trace is
Draymond,
getting
by the way.
yanked out of the lineup, right? And then it wasn't. It was like maybe a few weeks ago. Kerr said, we're gonna get Trace ready for the playoffs." Bro, come on, man. Like,
That's what I'm saying. And you got to
yeah, man.
remember
So,
Anthony
But what?
Slater. Anthony Slater. I think we got reported that we for the first time were 100% since November, bro. So like
yeah,
that, it's not really fair to say, oh, we got these losing records with all these top contending teams. That's all I want to say.
yeah,
it is fair though to some extent. It's
To
not
some
completely
extent. To
fair,
some
but
extent.
there is some truth though because we did have games we should have won, like the Kings game in the in-season tournament when we were up by 20, we blew that lead. Like the Clippers game when we were up 20, we blew that lead. Like the two Thunder games in overtime. Like there are some
Yeah.
patterns that we've had this season. We've done a much better job though, I will say, at closing games like that out. But
Dre,
those losses weren't.
being positive, at least
Yeah,
we had those leads. Maybe we could
right.
learn. We can learn and actually close the deal in the playoffs. And regular season basketball is different. Look,
Also,
I'm not trying to be a downer, but I'm just looking realistically in the West. You got a ton of strong teams, and I know Urkel was talking about most of the offenses are downhill grifters. I agree with that. But
It's
at the
not even
same
the fucking
time,
concern right now, bro.
but at the
That is
same,
literally like, Chef, like, no disrespect, but you got to look at what's going on right now in the month of March.
Jim, that's Kevin.
That's what's fucking irritating. You guys realize in the month of March, the Warriors haven't had a single 2 game winning streak? Not one
That's
single
alarming.
2 game winning streak in the month of March, guys. If they need to get right now is what needs to happen. That's what we need to focus on, and that's what we need to be frustrated about. So I'm looking at this fucking Pacers game with skeptical fucking eyes.
I
And do I
agree.
think that they have the capacity to win? Of course. But shit, like hey, you
It
haven't
comes down to
won two
Kerr. It
games
comes
in a
down to
row.
Steve Kerr.
so I'm gonna watch this Pacers game from the lens that not one, are we gonna do the right thing? Are we gonna do the shit that we did tonight? Right? Another thing is that I want to see how much they can crank down because remember Siakam is there as well, right? So there is
Do you feel threatened by Halliburton?
I
His
mean,
hamstring fucked up. No, his season's fucked. If you noticed, he had a hamstring injury, and I don't think he's
He
been the
ain't really
same
been the
since.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he might. I think Wiggins is going to do a number on him. Hopefully, I don't know. I guess Kaminga and Siakam, right? Or
Well,
I,
Draymond,
not
maybe. I
again.
don't
The
know.
last game,
I
he was
think I saw
definitely more.
something that Halliburton was shooting like 12% from three over his last 8 games or something crazy like
He's
that.
struggling. He's just yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's it's the hamstring killed him, man. So, but that's fine. It's like he's playing through it or whatever, like because he's still capable of being out there, but he just hasn't been the same. But regardless, we should win that game. I don't know if like what we'll be
Are we at home?
-5.5 favorites. Yeah,
Bro,
we're at home. It's
they
actually this is our last homestand, or we only have one more
Fuck,
homestand this
man. We're
year.
18
It's
and
the
18 at
it's
home.
the last it's the last 2 games of the year against New Orleans and Utah. We don't have a single home stretch this season for the rest of the year. That's more than one game, I'm pretty sure, or more than 2 games. More than 2 games.
Well, the most
I'm pretty
ironic
sure.
thing is that they have a better road record this year than home record. So
Yeah,
take
I'm gonna
that
have to
for
give. I'm gonna have
take
to give
whatever
Dre.
information.
Which is why, this is what I
You was
said
right,
earlier.
Dre.
Like
You was
maybe
right.
like I said this. Or what did I say? That was
Yeah,
right.
you was right, bro. Because I wasn't really jumping on it. The whole home thing versus away, I wasn't really buying into it. But yeah, now
Yeah,
being 18 and 18
there's
at
a
home.
pattern. I saw. Yeah, I saw the pattern earlier, but it doesn't matter. What I was trying to say is this. Um, although yeah, I was right about that, but the main thing I will say is if we're in a playoff series, we have to split the first two. I just don't feel comfortable not splitting the first two. Because if we go down 0-2 again, I don't know how confident I feel about winning both at home in a series. You know what I'm
You
saying?
don't want the home
So
court advantage.
no, I do. I mean, I like home court advantage, but this team hasn't proven they're like consistent at home. They're a better team on the road. That's what they've shown us all. So what I'm saying is if we start a series against, let's say, the Thunder or like the Timberwolves on the road, let's fucking split the two first games, please. I don't want to go down 0-2 going at home because this team is I trust them on the road now. Last season obviously was the opposite. Last season we trusted them more at home than on the road. This season we trust them more on the road than at home. And so for that reason, I just want to split at minimum split the first two in a first round matchup if we can get that far, which I think we can. If we
Yeah,
if we make the
this
first round, let's try to split the first two. I don't want to go down 0-2 going
is
back
a
home
real
because
preemptive
I
talk.
don't know. By the way, Jim, do you know what our defense is at home? It's ranked. It's like 20. It's like 20
Oh
something.
my god, that's
It's like
fucking
22nd.
disgusting.
Compared
That's
So I
to
looked at the
disgusting.
on the
numbers.
road, compared
I
to
looked at the numbers.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
and compare that number to on the road, Dre. Do you have that?
Yes, yeah, I have the numbers. So I was looking at it on playback the other day. I was breaking down the numbers in like a morning stream. Offense at home is like I think it's top 5 or top 10. Defense at home, it's like above average. It's like 12th or something. And then net rating is like 13th or whatever. On the road, we're like 16th in offense, but we're 22nd on defense at home. So 16th in offense, 22nd on defense at home, and then we're like 4th on offense and like 11th in defense at
What
home.
the fuck? They
I
should
mean, I
have
mean, I mean,
what?
I mean on the road. I mean on the road.
Right,
On
right.
the
You
road.
said you said on the road, and that's fucked up,
Yeah.
man. They should have never moved arenas. This San Francisco shit is fucking bullshit. Where the fuck
Fucking
is going on in
curse.
that fucking home
Tim,
court, bro?
Tim, they won
There's
a
no fucking
title with
home court.
No,
What
Chase.
is
like
this?
no, like I looked at the number, Jim.
Yeah.
I looked at the numbers. We're basically like we're an elite team on the road, and we're like a lottery team at home. I looked at the numbers. Like okay. So basically, let me just simplify it all. We're a top 10 team on the road. We play like a top 10 team on the road, and we play like a bottom 10 team at home. That statistically is what I found.
Dre,
Is what I determined.
last year we were able to lose 2 games on the road and hold serve at home. This year we got to get one on the road. Like that's the
Yeah.
only difference. Like we can't rely on home. Like we cannot rely on home court. Depending how far we go in the playoffs, you've got to win one game on the road because we're not gonna have home court for any of the series basically. So
These are statistical blips. 114.7 on the road, and then at home we're 116 defense. So
How
we're a
dare you, Joe
That's
Lacob,
what's our net
move
rating?
the Warriors out of fucking Oracle Arena? You fucking
2.7
bastards.
2.7 on the road versus I think a point one at home.
Oh
Oh
my
my god.
god.
I told you. No, Urkel, because Urkel, I said
Yeah.
so. 2.7 is what? That's like a number 8th,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Sonny?
roughly, yeah.
Is it 8th, top 10? And then what is .1? Isn't that like bottom 10 or like something like that?
What
Yeah,
the
It's like
roughly.
it's
Fuck.
like
Yeah.
we're basically a lottery team at home, and then we're like an elite team on the road. It's crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
so
It's
we
like
have
the
the
opposite of last
24th
year.
defense.
Have you ever seen that happen before, where your team is like,
That's
last year
weird.
you were
Like,
so good at home,
Yo,
you're dog shit on the road, but now this year it's like almost the inverse of that.
this
Have you ever
season,
seen
It
that
is.
before?
this season
No,
is
I've
weird,
never seen it.
man. Um,
That goes back to the consistency thing. But the thing
yeah.
is, though, going into the Pacers game, do y'all think we still have Draymond for that game?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
Why
hope
yeah. He
not?
so.
looked okay tonight.
His
Why
foot.
not?
Oh, because I thought his
You
foot
guys
went
noticed
out. I
though
thought
his
he went out
foot.
because of his foot or something.
Yeah, his foot kind of got a little fucked, but I think he'll be
I'm
okay.
gonna be honest with you. I didn't expect him to play tonight, but I'm glad that he did.
Neither did I
I'm
actually.
glad that he
Yeah,
did,
neither
and
did
I'm
I.
glad that the minutes were low. But
I'm glad
let's
he
do
looked
this.
okay.
Let's do this. Let's transition to playback.tv/space gang and let's watch some interviews and we can chop this up some more. See y'all over there at playback.tv/space gang.